Okay, hi folks. Welcome back to the Homespun Yak. How's it going, Mr. Hatley?
It's going pretty good. Just another uneventful Tuesday until about a couple hours from now, until we see the Battle of the Titans, the intellectual giants, the debate everyone's been waiting for. Mr. Joseph.
Okay. Dude, I legitimately thought you were talking about what we were talking about off air today.
Oh, no.
Oh
Nope.
man. Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah, right. The presidential debate, which I've seen very little talk on that. Uh, at least
Yeah.
like the NPR that I listen to, PBS, they I mean, I didn't even know it was today until literally today.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised by that.
Yeah. There hasn't been a ton of coverage leading up to it as much as you might expect in a normal election, I guess, or if
It's
it
a
was
liberal
anybody else. But
conspiracy. That's what it
yeah,
is.
oh, for sure, they don't want people tuning in to
No.
see Sleepy Joe get dominated. No, I don't know why it is, but I did see somewhere that like only 30% of Americans think that doing well in a debate is eventful or worthwhile at all, and potentially swaying their vote.
You said
So
30%?
30, yeah.
Actually, I don't consider that shocking. Just because if you think, let's say 30% of Americans are on the fence, that's a massive amount of Americans that might be on the fence that are actually willing to have their opinions changed. So that would definitely swing an election. But yeah, as for the other 70%, I'm not at all shocked that other people are like, well, yeah, I'm liberal or I'm conservative, therefore I am by default voting for this person.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't too shocked either, because I think by now, especially with this election, you know, people have pretty well made up their mind if they're, on either side.
Yeah.
I don't think an election is going to suddenly surprise them. I didn't know that Trump behaved in this manner. I never knew. Like so. I think it's more just I don't know, just like tuning in to get your, I don't know, dopamine rush in a way.
Who do you think would be hurt the most by this debate? Has the potential
I
to be
don't
hurt the
know.
most?
Well, Trump said he hasn't prepared at all for it.
Oh, okay. I did
And
not hear that.
yeah, he said, I'm not going to prepare for it. I'm just going to, show up and like see what happens. So that could potentially hurt him there, as far as trying to quote accurate statistics or research or numbers regarding the economy or whatever you want to talk about in the debate. Whereas, Biden is going to be pretty much coached up to the last second until the cameras go live of all the talking points and, you know, don't say this, Joe. Remember to look in the camera and, all this
Don't
stuff.
stick his fingers in your
And
mouth, Joe.
yeah, yeah. And Trump made the claim that Joe Biden is on PEDs and they should be drug tested before the debates happen because he says he's on performance enhancing drugs.
Usually you look like at an athlete or someone and say like they have the body of a Greek god, therefore I think he's on PEDs or she's on PEDs. But Joe, Joe's performance,
Yeah,
mental performance, is not an indication he is on
no,
PEDs.
no. I think he's just saying the fact that he's not, that he's just like alive is proof that he's on PEDs.
Oh, yeah.
So he's already in the minds of so many people, whether they believe it or not, just said like if Joe Biden can go out there and not die on stage or say ridiculous things, then you know Trump was proven wrong or something like that. So maybe Trump has more to lose in a way.
Yeah. I
I
think
don't know.
I think Biden is the only one that could lose in a debate. I mean, I think he can also win, but I think he's
Yeah.
the only one that can lose because Trump can literally just scream false news or fake news or whatever,
Mm.
and it just doesn't matter. I mean, granted, for the people that might be swung one way or another, maybe that'll impact them. But overall, just because Biden is trying to play in the rules within the lines of this is how a politician should be acting, and Trump is like, I mean, if things go bad, he's like a rabid dog. He just starts attacking everything in front of him, you know,
Yeah.
like completely creates straw man arguments, completely like attacks a person's personality. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he said uh, Joe has too white of hair. Like, I mean, stuff like that. Like, he would come up with anything if he was
Oh yeah.
on the ropes.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it'll be personal attacks and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Which yeah, I guess I know it. I can see what you mean now because that's kind of what his supporters almost expect now, and they would revel in the insults and the like dunking on someone. They've come to expect that from Trump, and if he does that without really answering what the questions are, then he doesn't have to worry because those people were going to vote for him regardless.
Oh.
So I don't really know. Yeah, I guess it's much more pressure now on Biden to, I don't know, to potentially sway people who are on the fence
Hmm.
because I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what to expect from this
There's
tonight.
there's there's
I
how many
will tune
debates?
in, but
There's how many debates
there's
in total?
three.
Three. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hmm.
So tonight is a guy from Fox, and then it'll be a person from NBC, and I don't know who the third one will be.
Hmm.
So it could be some softballs for Trump tonight, and then some softballs for Biden next time.
Yeah. Right. Softballs for Trump. so, so did you just outsmart the system with your taxes?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how. Yeah, and that coming out, what, a day or two ago.
Hmm.
I'm sure that will be brought up tonight. I would imagine if it's not brought up, then Biden, I'm sure they're telling him, remember to talk about he paid $750 in federal taxes,
That
which
is
is
that is stunning. That is stunning.
but no one's surprised really at the end of the day, I don't think.
No one's
I mean, people are
surprised.
surprised, but it's just like, of course, it's kind of one of those things.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think people are might be surprised, but as usual, nothing's gonna happen. I mean,
No.
like having
Well,
seven
you
hundred.
claim fake news
Yeah, seven. Yeah, of
right
course.
away.
$750. That should immediately come up with red flags of like not just like, hey, that's incredibly low. Something's not wrong or something's not right there. It's not just an accounting error. It's like he's a straight criminal. Like that. That's what it comes to. You know. It's I.
I
It's
mean,
crazy. It's just crazy. I hate how people in power just have things just come out wide open and nothing ever happens to them. Nothing ever happens to them.
no. I spent way more money than that on federal taxes last year. Like
Mm-hmm.
way more.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes you wonder like what did Jeff Bezos spend in federal taxes,
Absolutely.
or anybody who's a billionaire and up. if we look at the numbers, you know, is it even to what, somebody making 100 grand would spend to someone making 1 billion relative to their income
Right.
and percentages of what they need to pay?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you looked at it, it would be alarmingly low for Jeff Bezos or somebody like that
Yeah.
because they write off so much stuff for their business.
Sure. You'd think that it would be in the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, which it could easily be, and it wouldn't be a problem. But they have they use that money to as donation money, so they don't have to do certain things, or they can cut corners. And I don't know for sure, but that's certainly what it's appearing to be like. And you want a candidate who's going to, I'm not advocating for socialism or anything like that, but I think you would want a candidate who at least wants a more level playing field as far as like what you owe in taxes. Like if you make that much money, I think you can afford to pay a decent amount in taxes that, we would want to go towards things like education, healthcare, and infrastructure, or whatever it is. It's just with these two candidates currently, we can't really get a good picture that we're going to make sure that everybody pays taxes like they should pay, no matter how much they make. So
Yeah.
I think Biden, he's been in politics for 47 years, and I don't know, he's pretty much bought and sold at this point. And then
Mhm.
Trump, he paid $750. What do you think he's going to do? Like, yeah, if I had to pay that, then I'm not going to pay any more than that. He just claimed the IRS hates him and it's fake news. And then everybody's like, okay, we'll move on. But I'm curious to see how that issue in particular plays out in the debate tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I imagine he's just going to end up saying the same thing that he always says. I mean, what he said earlier, right?
Yeah.
Just a couple days ago, that
Yeah.
it's fake news, and I think it's imperative for Joe Biden to press him to cut through the
Mm-hmm.
BS and avoid any sort of ad hominem attacks,
Yeah.
and just go straight at like, well, okay, I mean that's all fine and dandy. You can insult me
Yeah.
all you want, but like answer the question. Um,
Right.
stuff like
Yeah. You
that.
got to stay on it because he's going to change the subject and
Totally.
claim fake news and try to push it back onto him. And
Mhm.
he'll say like, well, you were there 47 years. Well, why didn't you change it? Or, and like try to reverse it on him. And I just feel like a stronger candidate from the Democrats would have been able to really hammer him on that, like Tulsi Gabbard did to Kamala Harris in their debates.
Yeah.
Like where there's, even if you say something back, you're like, you just got roasted there, and there's nothing really you can say
Mhm.
at this point because she pretty much just owned you there. So might as well just move on.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Biden, I'm sure he'll do it, but it won't come off as effective as maybe a more spry individual.
Spry indeed. Sleepy Joe doesn't really come off with this demeanor of being sharp and
No, no,
aggressive.
not a very quick-witted individual who's going to just throw something right off the fly.
Yeah,
If he
yeah,
hears it, it's all going
right.
to be very methodical. Like
Yeah,
my next point.
with a little bit of slurring in there. Just make sure
Yeah,
you throw that in
yeah.
there.
Hopefully, he wears a mask. It'll be great.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of money, you sent me an article on Joe Rogan. You want to
Hmm.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Joe Rogan recently made the switch to Spotify. He's probably done, I don't know how many, 10 or so episodes now, which have gone have been uploaded straight to Spotify for free, by the way. And then like hours later, they're uploaded to all other podcast platforms. But I think as of October something or November something, it's going to be exclusively Spotify, video and audio. But the deal everybody pretty much knows is the number being floated around is $100 million,
Right.
that he signed on to do this deal. We don't really know the details as far as how long, but everything's going to be exclusively Spotify because, they're hoping somebody like Joe Rogan will lead to more subscriptions to Spotify and more viewers overall,
Yeah.
which I'm sure
Oh,
it
for
very well
sure.
could.
Yeah, I mean, if once it goes
Um,
exclusive, for sure.
yeah. So um, there was an issue where he went on his Instagram and then a podcast that came out today with this guy, Cam Haynes, and apologized, like a pretty lengthy, serious, sincere apology, saying that on the episode of Douglas Murray, who I've talked about on this podcast a lot, he's talked about a story of several Antifa people intentionally lighting fires in Oregon, um, because there's a huge wildfire issue going on in the Pacific Northwest at the moment.
Yeah.
And just to create more chaos, there's a couple. He said there was a few people who were Antifa, and they like threw a Molotov cocktail and tried to start fires in places, and then came out after that episode with this lengthy apology saying, I really messed up. I feel terrible. I said Antifa guys did it, but it was like the story that came out. It was one guy, and we don't know if he was like really Antifa or not, but he did throw a Molotov cocktail and try to start a fire. And there's evidence that people have been doing that. And a lot of people kind of were like, just the level of sincerity and like seriousness and the length of apology. I think a few people got a little bit like, that seemed a little bit excessive for what you said. I mean, definitely appreciate when someone who says something wrong and then goes back and like says I was wrong. Like that's why a lot of people love Joe Rogan. Um, but to release like on several different platforms an apology, it made some people suspicious that Spotify made him do it, and there's certain outlets that are like saying that they got a confirmation that they pressured him to do that.
The Daily
Because
Mail.
yeah, but there's a lot of like, when so basically his entire podcast history has been uploaded to Spotify, with the exception of like some notable episodes that they left out.
Yeah.
Um,
Like Alex Jones and a few others.
Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos,
Mm-hmm.
Gavin McInnes, and I think Steven Crowder might have been one, which he's been demonetized a lot on YouTube and other things lately too. But all these people have something in common in that they're heavily conservative or right-leaning figures in the media.
Yeah.
And people were looking into that and saying like, how could you sell out Joe? And it's just like, it's $100 million. Like you kind of got to be a little bit crazy to say no to that in a way. But I just wonder if Joe knew going in that some episodes would be removed, and if they told him about that, like, hey, if we give you this, we're removing this, and this from your history, and just deal with it basically. Or if they didn't tell him at all, I don't know. He hasn't addressed it, and I don't think he probably will.
Oh,
But
he
there's a lot
has.
of us. Oh, okay.
That
What has he said about that?
so that part. So yeah, there was that whole like controversy with like most of his catalog went up to on Spotify on September 1st, and then there were, like you said, like several episodes, specifically like pretty notable episodes by conservatives or kind of more far right conservatives.
Right.
Uh, and Alex Jones actually released a video and said that he had spoken to Joe Rogan and said like, and Joe had spoken to Spotify, and Spotify was like, no, we're still going to put it all up there and whatnot. So apparently, I think it's up now, but initially
Okay.
it wasn't. And Spotify wasn't actually going to limit him in any way, but
Mm-hmm.
speaking to that, like Spotify limiting and whatnot, people in Spotify, some of the employees of Spotify had actually brought up a lot of concerns about saying that they wanted to remove Joe Rogan from the platform because of
Yeah.
his points on trans rights. I think that was the big point. I don't remember exactly. This was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But so Spotify had a bunch of meetings with these employees. And I think ultimately they still ended up deciding, like, hey, Spotify was probably like, look, look, guys, we get it. Like, we get it. But, we just paid him $100 million. And,
Yeah.
he is going to
Let's
kind of keep our entire, like, platform alive. So, uh,
right.
we,
Let's keep this thing going.
yeah, we
But I
hear
did
you.
see that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up too because, like, yeah, several employees that were kind of higher ups in Spotify want to create a committee of oversight and
Hmm.
censorship after each episode is recorded. They then want to
Oh,
look
uh,
at these episodes before it's released on Spotify to the public and say,
uh,
hey, we're not going to release this, or we're going to edit this, and we're going to do this. And they want to
oh,
create a committee like that. And then they said, if we can't do that, or if you won't let us do that, we're going to strike because Joe Rogan is a transphobe and all
hmm.
this stuff, which is like, if you clearly haven't listened to anything he said about any of the issues, and it's just sad that inevitably when you get into bed with big media, big business, whatever it is, and you know, problems like that could inevitably arise. So it's
Yeah.
just hopefully it's resolved and there's no editing of anything, but I don't know. Will we ever really know?
I imagine not. I, I really hope they don't edit. I imagine that Joe would be so offended by that, he might actually pull from the deal, even
Mm-hmm.
if because he's making boatloads of money regardless. Like
Oh,
obviously not 100
regardless.
million,
Oh my God.
not 100 million,
Yeah.
but still he's making like with sponsored deals and stuff. I'm sure he's making well into the millions of dollars.
Millions. Yeah.
So I mean, if Spotify went to that degree, I think they understand that they don't like Joe has all the power.
Mm-hmm.
They want Joe. Brings in millions. I mean, tens of millions of eyeballs and ears. So I
Yeah.
can't imagine. And I'm sure they probably developed a lot of the platform, especially the video portion, specifically for his podcast. So they probably don't want
Oh,
to
100%.
throw that whole investment out the window either. So I imagine they
Yeah.
probably thought about it too. Like, okay, well, this guy covers a lot of controversial topics, so
And
we're
that's
gonna.
exactly why people tune into them.
Yeah, exactly. Even with his shitty ass set that he has now, I haven't watched a single
Oh,
episode since that's been up. I just can't watch. I
yeah.
don't know. It's so off
It's
putting. I
bad.
hate it with such a passion that I can't
Yeah,
watch
he
it. Like
talked
I've
about it
uh
in
huh.
his recent episode.
Did he?
He said, yeah, because the guy was like, this guy, Cam Haynes,
Uh
who
huh.
he's been on before, and he's like, it's cool to be in here, and, this is a wild place, and he's like, yeah, I like it. He's like, I don't really love it now. I kind of like it, but we threw it up really quickly. And like, if, you know, people are divided on it. They either really like it or they absolutely hate it.
I have not seen a
It's like
single person say they like it.
I think it's like 90% hate it. 10%
Yeah,
are like,
I
I
would say
guess it's
so.
cool.
Yeah, I would say so.
No one's like, I love it.
No,
But
no. He gets
yeah,
roasted so much.
I imagine it'll evolve a little bit because they
I
just
sure hope so.
I don't know. Like I said, I think he was probably just blasted high out of his mind and just was like, this would be sweet. And then they
Yeah,
got there and they're like, not as cool as I thought.
yeah, right. Yeah.
But just paint it a different color.
Oh, exactly. That's it. That's it.
That'd be
That's
it.
all they would need
Yeah.
to do. Just paint it a different color. I remember one commenter said, "It's good to see Joe back in the devil's dick." Oh, that is so
I
accurate,
mean,
though. It really
yeah.
looks like it. Just a big can, just a big red can with some black accents. It's so bad. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll change. But yeah, it's interesting. It's still kind of early. I don't know, early days as far as a lot of speculation revolving around what Spotify can and can't make him do, or if he's pushing back on what they're trying to do. I don't know. Really, I think it's a lot of speculation, but
That would be tough.
it's
He even said before he moved over, before, like when he signed it, he said, "Look, I have control over everything. Spotify has
mhm.
promised me that they will not interfere with anything." So I imagine that has to be in the contract. Like I imagine
Yeah,
Joe could afford some fantastic lawyers to look over this thing and be like, "Okay, yeah, no matter what, like you're good to go." So I
yeah,
think
and
I
he
think
would have been
Spotify's the
incredibly thorough.
yeah, I think Spotify is the one that's effed. If anything, that Spotify's
Yeah,
effed. But I don't think that they are. I think that ultimately people can raise their voices all they want, but it's really a vocal minority, and Spotify knows that because there are literally
hmm
millions of people that listen to
yeah,
that podcast. So
exactly.
I don't think they ultimately care that much. I think they're
No,
pretending to care by yeah, let's have group meetings and vent about like what's bothering you about this. And in the back of their
yeah. Let's
minds they're like,
control.
we're not
Yeah,
changing anything.
let's control and have a censorship committee on the Joe Rogan experience. Like the audacity of someone to think that they can do that is just outrageous to me. Like
Yeah.
I know what's best for people to hear from a different person
Yep.
speaking.
Mm.
It's just that's just yeah. I hope that is squashed immediately, and I'm not surprised that something like this came up. But yeah, it's just it is a little suspicious when it's like we've uploaded everything to Spotify, and it's like, oh, but 5 episodes aren't uploaded. Oh, which are those? Like, oh, they have nothing in common at all. It's totally random that we left those guys out.
Yeah.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
And then it took people being like, put it back on for them to be like, oh, we were gonna, yeah, it was just a glitch or something.
Oh, there
Like
they are.
they're just testing the waters of
Yeah.
like, are we gonna get pushback? And from his crowd, I think, yeah, you probably will,
Tons.
because he's
Tons.
been such a proponent of like talking to everybody, no matter what their beliefs are or anything. And I just, yeah, I'd be very interested to see if like somebody like Alex Jones comes on to his new studio because he also lives in Texas.
I'm sure. I'm sure he'll be back on.
Yeah.
I don't foresee that being an issue. Uh, yeah, I wish I do wish that Joe would have a few more people that like directly disagree with him. Like, I'd love to see somebody who's in a transgender community that knows about, like, for example, sports. That would be really interesting. I completely agree with
hmm
Joe on his stance when it comes to transgender athletes, but
Yeah.
still, like, it'd be really interesting to have like even more controversial people that specifically disagree with him. That would be really
hmm
cool to see.
Yeah, I think so too. And I don't know. I just don't know how things like that are now planned and scheduled, and
Yeah.
with Spotify involved, do they like put forth people who, here's a list of people who can do your show, Joe, like choose from these people. Like, I
I
don't know
doubt
how,
it.
I don't
No.
know what their influence is at all,
I
basically,
would
but
bet they have zero influence. That's my thought. Like I think that no matter what they're doing in the background, I think the contract is probably ironclad in Joe's favor, but
mhm.
just because all they want is his draw. So they probably gave up
Yeah.
the house just to have his draw.
Yeah. They seem like, yeah, he seems like the type of person who would not sign a thing unless he knew every detail of
Yeah.
that contract.
Yeah.
So,
The
yeah,
f-
hopefully this is all just, you know,
a big government
I don't know.
conspiracy.
Yeah, yeah, just nothingness. But we will keep you up to date.
Indeed. And then you sent me something else about the Rolling Stone.
Yeah, the magazine Rolling Stone
Yeah.
re-released their top 500 albums of all time.
Okay.
I think
And
the
as you
last time
said,
they,
we'll be going through all 500.
yep. So strap in. Um, no, but I don't know. Maybe just look at the top 25 or something. But it was published a few days ago, I think, or maybe last week. So anybody can check it out on their website. But I'm just looking now.
I see their
Um,
top 50.
yeah, top 50 to 1 is the link. They have it broken down like by 50 albums from 500 to 450 and then so on. So it's not like just one long list.
Yeah.
But
I
I
have
don't know.
not
I don't really know
I haven't
how
looked at the
these are
top
made.
one. Yeah, I imagine it's just opinion. I don't know. Maybe they have panelists.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think people can vote, like the public can vote, and then they have like a group of panelists who,
Oh yeah, it says right there. To do so, we received and tabulated top 50 album lists. This is in the top 50 from more than 300 artists, producers, critics, and music industry figures. From radio programmers to label heads like Atlantic Records CEO Craig Kalman.
yeah.
Okay.
So, still opinions, um,
Yeah.
which I'm sure, obviously people's opinions change. Like even old records can influence people who are brand new into the music industry today, and
Hmm.
they can move up or down.
Yeah.
But 25, I don't know. Did you want to do 50 or just like leave it at
Let's
25 for
do let's
now?
do
I'm not going to
25.
be like, "Well, number 25. Well, she grew up in this." I'm not going to do that. But
Yeah.
Carole King Tapestry,
I'll be honest,
uh,
I don't know it.
I really don't either. I know that she was, yeah, a female singer songwriter in California, late 60s, 70s. Laurel Canyon person, like, was in the whole group with Crosby, Stills, and Nash, kind of more folk, I guess.
Hmm.
I don't really know it that well, but I think it was just probably a record that spoke to a lot of people. Good singing and songwriting. 24, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band,
I'll
the
be honest, I
Beatles.
don't
I
know
think
it.
actually, well, I think actually this was this was number one. The last
Really?
version they released of this, yeah,
Wow, that
this was
got
number
demoted.
one, big time, which I
Okay.
don't understand.
Well, the next one already is wrong. I mean, if that's the case, let's just go under the assumption that the Beatles was number one, and the next one is the Velvet Underground by Verve. Like that does not. I mean, don't be wrong, it's great, but like putting
Yeah,
that at 23 over the Beatles at 24, that
over the
seems.
Beatles, yeah, Sergeant Pepper's. I mean, that's like, I don't know. I just that's just an album that was so influential,
Yeah.
more so than maybe any other. I mean, I don't know. Again, it's just I'm no judge of like what should be here or there, but
I am.
I feel like this one should be. Yeah, you are, and I just feel like this was. Yeah, this is this. It's strange that that one got bumped so high. I think
Yeah.
undeserved. Velvet Underground. I mean, I don't know much about. I know Lou Reed was the singer songwriter for
Uh-huh.
the Velvet Underground, and uh, people think he's, you know, a genius. He's a guy that was friends with David Bowie, and you know, did a lot of heroin and was like pretty dark and
Yeah.
uh, definitely a new sound. But I think people just their heads were way too far up their own ass, really, with that
I'll be honest. I
that
completely
choice.
agree. I completely agree. I remember Lou Reed near the end of his life did some collabs with, or maybe like 5 years before he died, with the Gorillas. I was listening to the songs and I was like, "This is trash." I mean, the guy
Yeah, it's just
sucks.
like his voice is not good at all. I mean, doesn't have to be good to be,
True.
you know, a good songwriter or anything
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I think people just are. I don't know. They just certain people like him, and then like Tom Waits. I just don't get it. I don't get it
Uh-huh.
at all.
Yeah.
They're just way too like, oh, it was brilliant. I mean, I just couldn't. Yeah, I mean,
You
he
don't
just really
understand.
expressed, and they're like, yeah, and they're just like, just stoned out of their mind, just
Yeah.
chain smokers, because they have this cool image, and I don't know. I don't know enough to really say, but that's my feeling on it.
Yeah.
22, Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die. Um, I mean, as far as rap albums, I mean, yeah, this is certainly one that is, in my opinion, in the top 10
I
for
agree.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And yeah, just was something that was immensely successful and still is today
Yeah.
and influenced tons of people. So I mean, I'm fine with it being there, but let's just see what's under that.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that being in the top 25. I'm shocked that it maybe isn't even lower as
Yeah.
far as, you know, maybe as far as 15, you know, but
Yeah.
certainly, yeah, I think it was probably a lot lower in the older rendition of the top 500, but yeah, incredible, timeless album for sure.
Sure.
The, in Radiohead.
Kid A. Yeah.
I don't know a ton about this album.
I don't either.
I know OK Computer a lot better than this. And yeah, Radiohead was a truly unique, I guess they're still together, but truly unique band and like
Yeah.
incredibly smart, talented guys who put some really amazing music out. And
Some weird sounds.
some weird sounds for sure. I think that's another one where they could literally put out an album of silence and people would say, this is
Oh
the
yeah.
greatest I've ever.
Oh yeah.
So they're another one of those people
Yeah.
now.
I
Um,
don't understand how people can feel that way. As a Tool fan, let me tell you, nobody
yeah.
nobody tries to overhype their band. I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah, I know. And I wonder if Tool is on here in any form. I
I
don't know
haven't
why they
looked
wouldn't be.
I haven't looked at number 1, but I imagine it's probably there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would say so. We don't even have to look. But
Yeah, we'll stop at number 2.
yep. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly is 19.
Okay, I don't know. I don't. I mean, I know Kendrick Lamar, but like, I don't. I don't keep up with his
Yeah.
music.
I mean, his most, I think it's his most recent album, Damn, was one
Oh,
that I liked more than this one.
yeah,
I will say that. And it's definitely an amazing album, but I don't know that I would put it above Sergeant Pepper's.
oh,
um,
yeah,
yeah, and that's just me. I mean, I just don't know the criteria. It's just so difficult to really have a strong opinion because what are we looking at? Are we looking at sales? Are we looking at influence of other artists? Are we looking at unique quality of the album itself, the message, the lyrics,
yeah.
the music of it? I don't know. I would imagine all of those things. So strange. I mean, certainly a really amazing album,
Sure.
but number 19, I would say probably not. Bob Dylan, Highway 61 Revisited. That's another guy who, like Lou Reed, very not a great voice.
I have to admit, I
um,
agree with you. I have never been a huge Bob Dylan, like, huge
yeah,
fan. It seems like sacrilege to say that you're not, but
yeah. I think he meant a lot more because of his lyrics were so political, and
yeah,
for what was going on in the '60s, I think it spoke to people way more than it does to people now. Although a lot of his songs are probably relevant for a lot of people now
yeah,
as well. And I think he was one of the greatest songwriters of all time and very prolific artist.
hmm,
I mean, um, but as far as like his specific albums go, like I know a lot of his specific songs. I just don't know. Like you couldn't say an album of his, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can name all the songs on that. So I mean, I expected him to be in this top 25 for sure at some point. So
sure. Next
I don't
one
know.
is interesting.
Wow, Kanye,
Yeah,
Kanye West, my beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
that's an interesting
Huh.
choice. This one I actually know a little bit more on. I
Okay.
mean, obviously he has several albums, right, that are like a lot of people reference his older work, and then he got pretty experimental with all kinds of different stuff in his more recent work. But I remember when this came out, I really liked it actually. Uh, I thought
Oh
it had
yeah.
all kinds of different sounds within it. So yeah, I mean,
Oh
would I put
yeah.
it at 17? Probably not, but it's
No.
it's still a great album.
Yeah. It was really different than probably a lot of the stuff that was coming out at the time. As far as yeah, like I said, the sound was very unique, and then the lyrics were really good too. Like the song "Runaway," I really like that song a lot.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I thought that was really good.
yeah. I mean, Kanye West, I mean, people can say what they want about him in his personal life and what he says, but when it comes to making music that's really unique and really good quality, you know, you have to give it up to him.
Yeah.
But like you said, 17, that's a bit bold. And then you go down to the Clash, London Calling for
Mm-hmm.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I mean, I really like that album a lot. Um,
I
I
don't know
think,
much on it.
yeah, I mean, there's a few songs on there that you probably would know, but maybe you didn't recognize was this album or even the Clash.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and it's great. I mean, when they came out, and I guess this says 1979 was when this album was created. Um, Again, I think it was just a completely different sound, and then there's a big political message in a lot of their songs as well,
Yeah.
combined with the fact that it's very catchy. Did extremely well on the radio, and I don't know, just again another really influential record for a lot of people that came after them. Um, I know a lot of bands today really cite that they're still a huge influence to them. So I don't know. I didn't expect that for 16. Um, Then you go to 15, the rap Public Enemy.
For 15, yeah, Public Enemy. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back.
And I can't comment on this because I know nothing about this album at all. Nick,
I'll
you'll have to
educate
take
you.
over.
No problem. See, Public Enemy was a rapalicious group that came
Yeah.
about due to the strife that was occurring in New York City. And
Ah.
essentially, this rapalicious group became quite famous, much like Run DMC, as well as in the Compton area, talking about NWA.
Mhm.
I mean, other
Right.
rapalicious
Is this
groups.
the same time period?
uh, I don't. I think they came before. I think Run
Okay.
DMC and Public Enemy were slightly before. I think NWA was probably like the '90s, early '90s. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's roughly the same time.
Yeah.
I don't actually like. I've listened to like three of their songs, so I don't know. But I do like NWA a lot. Not that we're talking
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah. I mean, I could see them being, in
Oh,
this list of the
I
top
would
50
hope.
for sure.
Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah. I just don't know enough about this number 15. I mean, I'm no Public Enemy, but I don't really know this album and its importance and the relevance of being 15. I don't know. I don't know enough to say. So we'll just move on.
Okay.
14, Rolling Stones, Exile on Main Street. I do know this album a lot, um, and I love it. It's maybe my favorite Rolling Stones record, that and Some Girls, but this was an interesting one because they got, let's see, they were issued a warrant for their arrest around this time
Really?
because of tax evasion in England. So
Oh, so they have
they just
something
fled the
in
country.
common with our president.
Yes, I think it was more unjustly done to them back then,
Hmm.
but they fled the country nonetheless. Because even back then, like, it wasn't like it is now, or people really still didn't appreciate the rock star image as much as they do now. They were kind of the groundbreaking group to be like, we're bad guys and like deal with it. And around that time, people were like, we want the Beatles and like a more clean cut image. So they tried to really bring the Stones down in a lot of ways. So they just were like, we're going to move to the south of France, rent this chateau on the Mediterranean,
Sure.
and we're going to live here for the entire summer, uh, drink, shoot heroin, and make this album, Exile on Main Street. And and yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it was totally different from anything they had done before. Basically, there's a lot of different styles of songs on it. Sort of like some songs are more um, almost bluesy, almost country western
Yeah.
vibe to it, and then some are harder rock and roll. But it's definitely a more raw raw vibe to it that produced a lot of really great hits that'll stand the test of time, and spoke to the position that they felt like they were at, you know, with escaping tax evasion and a bunch of other stuff. So I think this definitely deserves to be in the top 50 at least.
Okay.
Um, Number 13, Aretha Franklin. Nick, you're going to have to tell us about this one.
R-E-S-P-C-T.
I know you played this at your wedding. So.
That's true. Yeah. My wedding where my bride didn't show up because I don't have a bride, Kyle.
Sorry, ladies out there. I was kidding.
I never loved a man the way I love you. So yeah, that was definitely directed at you. I don't know much of her music, but I know she was an icon, and I know she had a huge impact. So I can't speak to this album whatsoever, but as a musician and as a person who's had an impact in social justice, she's had a pretty tremendous impact. So yeah, I can't really speak to the album whatsoever.
Nor can I. I know that she, groundbreaking artist that influenced a lot of people, including Whitney Houston. So do with that what you will. But we don't know enough to say whether or not this is a good pick. So we'll move to 12, which is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, this one, I have to vehemently agree. I think this one is fantastic. Thriller is probably my favorite song by Michael Jackson. Probably, yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised because if you go to Spotify, Thriller isn't even listed in the top 5, from what I remember. Last time I tried to listen to it, you have to. It's like rated at like number 9. I'm really surprised because I think it's absolutely phenomenal, and the video,
Oh, yeah.
right? The music video that went along with that was groundbreaking. So, yeah,
Yeah, it was.
I
They
think,
played it in theaters.
yeah.
People would like line up around the block to see, because it was like a little short film sort of, and then it
Hmm.
went into that song, which, yeah, it was a huge gamble at the time, but obviously, was incredibly groundbreaking and paid off in a huge way.
Yeah.
It says here that it was number 1 for 37 weeks.
Yeah, that's
This
not very
album.
long.
No. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, it's got Beat It on there as well,
Oh, that's another fantastic
um,
song.
which says Met Solo by Eddie Van Halen. Um, yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's in the top 50. I mean, might be surprised it's not even in the top 10,
Hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Um,
I think because it doesn't have like a huge impact. Like you were talking about, the Clash, right? Had a lot of social implications
mhm.
and whatnot. I'm sure Public Enemy it did as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So I imagine that probably dings it some. I guess that
yeah,
would be
yeah.
my.
I could see that. Yeah, it's more just about like songs that, would just kill it on the radio and everybody can dance to.
Right.
Not really a not really a message, I guess. Although a lot of his songs did, I don't think any. I don't think a lot in Thriller did. I think more later in his life, like Man in the Mirror and
Yeah.
stuff like that, had a deeper message to it. So yeah, I definitely agree there. Then the Beatles' Revolver is 11. Which I need to see like songs that are on this list before I can
It speaks volumes that the first song the band worked on upon entering Abbey Road Studios in April 1966 would have been impossible to replicate live. A swirl of hazy guitar, backward tape loops, kaleidoscopic drum tumble, and John Lennon's voice recorded to sounds like the Dalai Lama singing from the highest mountaintop. Okay.
Yeah, this is one where,
Oh, Eleanor Rigby.
yeah, Eleanor Rigby. That's a
That's one I
phenomenal
recognize.
song.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think this is an album where all of those guys had gone to India. They had, well, maybe I don't know if this is after that, but they had all done LSD, and that kind of changed things
Okay. Yeah. As one does.
from more of the poppy kind of radio sound that people like were introduced to the Beatles with. This is way more introspective and experimental in not only the lyrics but the way that they recorded the music and performed the music itself.
Yeah.
And drugs help with that.
Yeah.
So
Apparently.
if you do LSD, you might be in the top 11 of all time albums, kids.
There you go. There's the lesson.
And then number 10, Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, 1998.
So this definitely has several great songs on it. Doo Wop, That Thing, is great. X Factor. There's one more that I really like. It doesn't say. Anyway, but yeah, I really like her music. She's not that great of a person, it seems, but at least this, just speaking to the
just look at
album,
the album.
it's she definitely put a great one together. Would I again, however, put this in the top 10? No, I don't even know if I'd put it in the top 50. But I like it a lot.
No, I don't think I would as well. I mean, yeah. I don't know a ton about. I know a few of the songs, but I don't know the album intimately enough to comment on a deeper level. But I am shocked that it is in the top 10.
Yeah.
Then Bob Dylan
Again.
comes back again, your boy.
Yeah.
Bob.
Bobby boy.
We'll just skip over him.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Number 8
Straight to number 8.
8 is a great choice.
Yeah.
Prince and the Revolution, Purple Rain. Warner Brothers, 1984.
Hey, every time I see this album cover, I just think of Dave Chappelle playing him in Chappelle's show,
Yeah. That's good.
playing basketball.
Yeah, right. Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah, it's hot out here, man. Can I get a towel or something? Why don't you purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka? Computer blue.
Shoot the J.
Shoot it!
Oh, that's good.
Good.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that that's like potentially a real story that happened.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, anyway, Purple Rain's a great album.
Yep, I love Prince. He's one of my favorite artists of all time because I think he's one of the most talented musicians who ever lived. Not only could he sing and write amazing songs, but he could perform and play any instrument just about as good as anybody else. And he was an insanely good performer in front of live audiences too. So just Um, yeah, tragic loss, as I've said before, and I'll say it again. Number 7, Fleetwood Mac rumors.
Yeah, I'm not a huge
You
Fleetwood
seem
Mac fan.
very upset with this decision.
I'm not upset. I'm just not a huge Fleetwood Mac fan. I mean, it's good, but not like
Yeah.
fantastic. Like people really. I've got some friends that are huge Fleetwood Mac fans, and every time they show me a song, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna like blast them for being bad or anything, but it's not.
Yeah, I think this album in particular just had so many hits on it
Mhm.
that I definitely understand someone putting them here based on the success that it had. And um, I mean, yeah, like Go Your Own Way, Dreams, Don't Stop, The Chain, You Make Loving Fun. I mean, that could be like a greatest hits album for a lot of other bands, if they just had those songs. But this is on one album, so I get,
Yeah,
you know, so many piled into one album. Some songs are definitely overplayed, and I think that kind of hurts when people hear a song over and over again. They're just like, all right, I'm over it. But
yeah,
some songs I really love from Fleetwood Mac. Um, and the cool part about that band is that, they had songs where, what's his name? Lindsey Buckingham sang, um, the guy, and then Stevie Nicks sang, and then
hmm
Christine McVie sang some songs. I actually like her songs the most. She was a piano player, but yeah, just a versatile group that had their share of issues that we won't go into, but it involved a lot of cocaine. Now we'll move to number 6, Nirvana. Never mind, Nick, take it away.
okay, I will. I hate this choice. I hate this choice so much. Uh, let me
Why?
first let me first begin by
Why?
saying I I love Nirvana. Uh, I think I love their music. They definitely talk about all kinds of really difficult topics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like lithium, and there was one song, I forgot what the name of it is, but he's talking about living under a bridge. Just like talking about all kinds of different topics. I mean, from drugs, depression, homelessness, not feeling right in the world, all that. Like, and
Heroin.
yeah, I'm, I definitely respect them for that. But their musical ability in terms of their instrumentation is just unbelievably overrated. I mean, it is sound. That's what it is. Like, and that's the worst insult I can give to them. Even though I jam out to them and I love it, and
Yeah.
again, the lyrically they did some pretty great songs. Like Kurt Cobain did a fantastic job, but some of it is literal sound. Like you can't tell where things are. It's just like the drumming is just basic. Dave Grohl didn't do that great of a job. Uh, I like Kurt Cobain's voice, but it's not like he's a great singer. Let's be real. And
Mm-hmm.
the guitar work is just it's rough, it's gritty. I love that,
Right.
but it's just not good. Like
Some would
as
say grungy.
yeah, one might say grungy, as if it came out of what is it?
The
Where were they?
grunge
In
era.
Washington?
Seattle.
Yeah, yeah, right. So I love them personally, but putting them at number 6, not even close, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just become such a, I don't know, like a cult album
Yes,
because, it kicked a lot of, I mean, it was groundbreaking as hell at the time and
sure.
was immensely popular and sort of defined a genre of music in its own right. But yeah, I don't know. It's that surprised me as well. I mean, I get based on its impact and you know what happened with Kurt Cobain and everything. I get that could be in the top 50 for sure,
Hmm.
but top 10, was kind of eye opening. Abbey Road, number 5 from the Beatles.
Okay. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't either. Um, yeah, I mean, Here Comes the Sun, Something, both really amazing songs by George Harrison that are on that album. Um, yeah, I mean, the Beatles, when you look at pretty much every single album they did, every single song on that album was a good song and one that you would just listen to the whole way through. And
Right.
I've said this before, that doesn't happen today.
No. No.
That does not happen today. So
Uh-uh.
it's no surprise that the Beatles are still in the top 5.
Yeah.
Um, could argue that they could be higher. But anyway, we'll go to number 4, Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life.
I don't know. I mean, I know Stevie Wonder, but I don't know the specific songs on this album.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh man, I looked down a little bit.
Oh no, you looked
Shit.
down? I didn't look yet.
I have not looked at the number one, and I will not because I know it's gonna piss me off already.
Okay. All
But
right, don't look yet. I'm looking at Stevie Wonder. What songs are on this particular album? Songs in the Key of Life.
here's a fun
Isn't
story.
She Lovely?
Isn't she lovely?
Yeah,
That was
did you just play that album?
yeah.
Did you just play the song?
That was identical, wasn't it? Yeah. People always say that I sound like Stevie
You're the
Wonder.
next Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
You've said that before.
Shut up, Nick.
We've heard it before.
Uh,
Gee. That's the only song I really know off this album. It's a wonderful
Same.
song. Makes you smile, makes you nod your head a little bit.
Yeah.
But number 4 of all time. Who are we kidding here, guys? Come on. Number 3, Joni Mitchell, Blue. This is another one like what we started off with, number 25.
Oh, yeah.
With the woman who was a singer-songwriter in like the early 70s. Is there's this whole like movement in Laurel Canyon, California. It was like the end of the 60s, like late counterculture era where all these musicians got together and like it was just a commune of free love and music and a lot of singer-songwriter, folky, like soft rock sort of came out of this era. I've never really listened to this song, but so many people are like, this is the greatest like singer-songwriter album of all time. Yet I
Wow.
still have not, I still have not gone down that road because let's be real, it's a woman. And I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding, of course.
Canceled.
Canceled.
Hashtag
but
canceled.
I mean, pretty much
folks.
everybody from Bob Dylan, Chris Christopherson, Graham Nash, James Taylor. A lot of people, have said she was, maybe the greatest singer-songwriter that they had ever seen. But unfortunately, we cannot comment because I don't know really a lot of the songs on here. But Nick,
I don't
think
either.
you're a student of her?
Oh, okay. You want me to bullshit again, I see.
No. I don't want us to get canceled.
Okay, no.
Number 2, Pet Sounds.
Okay, here's where I had my reaction.
Okay.
How the hell would the Beach Boys be above any Beatles album? Don't get me wrong, I like the Beach Boys. They're great.
Yeah, I do
But
too.
wow. At number 2, out of all the albums, you're saying number 2 is the Beach Boys.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of people, like producers and stuff on documentaries, like make an argument that this was the greatest album ever made. And I can't really follow what they're trying to say. Like, it's amazing and like should be in the top 50 for sure, I think,
Yeah.
because the song God Only Knows it really is a masterpiece of a song, I think.
Hmm.
But I don't know, maybe just how it was made, the lyrics, how many people it potentially influenced. Um, because it says the Beatles made a point of echoing them on Sgt. Pepper's in acknowledgement that Pet Sounds was the inspiration for that masterpiece. Um, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's better because it influenced that album, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I love that song Kokomo too, but that's
Oh,
not on
yeah.
this album.
That's great.
Great song.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older?
That's on this one, yeah.
Yep. That's a great one too.
It's a great one. But yeah. Again, a tough one for number 2. Probably not what we would have chosen.
No.
Number 1, the drum roll. Wow.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead here.
Okay.
They've
I don't.
written a long thing about this shit.
I.
Not that it's shit. They've just written a
Oh,
long
it's shit.
piece.
No, 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 it's not. But I have to say, I'm pretty disappointed. I know I'm a Tool fanatic, but how? I mean, like not
Yeah.
having Tool in the top
Were they in the
25.
top 100? Are they in
I
the top 100?
I don't know.
First of
I'll
all, number 1, folks, is Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, 1971, Motown, which I think he's one of the greatest voices of all time. I will say that. I think he's got an incredibly amazing, unique voice that I've ever heard in my life, and some of the greatest songs too. But I think here they're really going for the message, because they've written a very long piece talking about how it was made and what each song means, and what it meant to Black America at the time,
yeah.
social issues going on, Vietnam. So, you know, I don't know. It's just, you know, I don't know, with any list like this, like, there's going to be some bias, there's going to be some political influence made in the decisions.
Yeah.
At number 1, yeah, I really didn't look at it before, and I just did not expect that.
I didn't either. I disagree
Not that it
with
doesn't
it.
warrant top 50 or even 25, maybe, but like, I don't know. It very much took me by surprise there. The fact that I don't see, I'm just kind of looking now that we've gone through 25.
Yeah, I'm looking at 51 to 100. Taylor Swift Red is at 99. So if Tool isn't between 99 and 50, I just wasted. The whole thing was a colossal waste of my time because these people are insane. They got Metallica Master of Puppets at 97. Okay. They got Drake, Take Care at 95. Okay. Jimi
got
Hendrix at
D'Angelo.
92.
They've got the Beatles' White Album at 29. The next one, D'Angelo Voodoo. Do you know who this is? I've never heard of this person. What
You got
the hell?
David Bowie, Miles
Jimi
Davis,
Hendrix 30.
The Doors, John Lennon. AC/DC,
Beyonce
Back in Black
Lemonade
at 84.
32. Beyonce Lemonade 32.
Wasn't that like a revenge album against Jay-Z?
Yeah.
Beyonce, 81.
And then Amy Winehouse is just above that, which is I
Wow.
love Amy Winehouse.
Yeah,
but
she's got an incredible voice.
Beyonce Lemonade beat Michael Jackson, Off the Wall, and the Beatles' Rubber Soul, everybody. And Dr. Dre, The Chronic. And Talking Heads, Remain in Light. Yeah, and
Kanye
Bowie's Stardust.
Kanye West, The College Dropout at 74. Hey, I'm on 71. Still haven't seen Tool. NWA, Straight Outta Compton, is at 70. Okay.
Bob Marley Legend is at 48. Tell me that Beyonce is better than Bob Marley. God, it's just the more I scroll up, the more my heart just hurts.
Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. I would not put that ahead of AC/DC's Back in Black.
I would not either.
Okay, I'm on 58. There's only like 8 more. Okay, Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon is 55.
How?
And they put Chuck Berry is the last one at 51. So Tool didn't even crack the top 100.
I bet they didn't crack the top 200. I guarantee you they didn't.
Oh, good Lord.
Search. You said Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon was 58? So you just told me?
Yeah, I think something like that. Tool is not in the top 150. Okay, we're going to 200.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure that we can pretty much just...
Tool is not in the top 200.
Are they even in the top 500? Remember, it's much worse than Taylor Swift's Red.
It's not in the 250.
Good.
They got Shania Twain at 300, dude. Oh my! I mean, fine. Like I don't have a problem with Shania, but
I'm fine with that.
but they're not in the top 300. I mean, that is stunning to me.
I don't even think they're in the 500.
It doesn't even have to be Fear Inoculum. That's fine. Toots and the Maytals are at 344. Tool is not in the top 350. All right, let's see here.
It's got to be 351, I would say.
No, it's not in the top 400.
Oh, must be 401.
Wow, I just keep getting... Okay, we're in the last batch. Is it the top 500? It is not. It is not. Shakira beat out Tool. So did Boys to Men, which Boys to Men have great voices, but
They're fine, yeah.
Bonnie Raitt. Harry Styles beat out Tool. You have got to be kidding me. Oh, not even in the top 500 albums. That is insane. Wow.
Oh, God.
Selena.
Selena.
Yeah. Wow. Sheryl Crow.
Gomez?
No. I thought it was briefly. It's not.
That'd be amazing if it was.
Oh, yeah.
I bet Tool wasn't even mentioned
Probably not.
as an option.
Probably not.
Is any of the Smiths on there? I didn't see any of the Smiths.
I haven't seen the Smiths either, although admittedly I can't stand the Smiths. I think they're massively overrated. Kid Cudi, Man on the
That's pretty
Moon,
wrong.
made it at 459. I imagine you'd disagree.
Kid
I,
Cudi made it?
yeah, in the top 500.
Wow.
9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. Okay. Wow.
It's not
Okay.
better than Beyonce Lemonade, though. Remember that.
No, I do remember it. Trust me. Oh
The
man.
hell? Like, even to Beyonce, that's like, she has better albums than that.
Oh yeah. I mean, Beyonce's been incredibly influential as well. But
I'm not trying to knock her. I'm just saying, it's just, what are we doing, you know?
yeah.
That's why I love lists because you get to look at it, analyze it, but I hate them too because they always are wrong.
They're always wrong. That's a good way to
But
put
just
it.
like the NBA lists and stuff that we talked about the greatest players and everything, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that list was outrageous.
Yeah, it
And then
was.
the freaking rookie thing, the list, which I have to say I proved that wrong pretty much with that Tyler Hero speech, and then he dropped 37 on that ass.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
and
So
they're advancing.
now all I have to do is pray that the Heat can beat the Lakers, which is a long shot. But
Yep, game one tomorrow night.
yep. Yep, tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely a long shot, but hopefully it's an exciting series. I just, yeah, I don't know. I think we'll be able to tell a lot more after game one.
It might be an exciting series. I think this will be I think this will definitely be the Lakers' greatest test. No doubt about that.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I mean skill wise the Lakers are definitely just better. Uh, they just have more talent on their team.
Well, I think LeBron and AD, they are out of this series. They're the two best players for sure.
Yeah.
But then number three, I might even go as far as to say is 3, 4, and 5. I would say are maybe not in this order, but Dragic, uh, Jimmy
Butler.
Butler, and then Bam Adebayo, and then
Yeah.
maybe even Tyler Hero, and
Yeah.
then you could maybe say a Lakers player, but I don't know. It's just Lakers. They're older, but then again, they have a lot of like championship experience. As in,
Mm.
there's a lot of guys on that team that have won championships before.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the Heat have Iguodala.
yeah,
So
and
just I
he
mean
came
not
up big in the last game. He made like 3 or 4 threes,
yeah.
which he's pretty much non-existent before that.
Hmm.
And he's always a good defender. Um, and that's the question is like, I don't know who's gonna guard LeBron.
That's always a big question.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if you can hurt one of those guys early. I think you got a chance.
Oh man. Well, on that note, I have to head out. But I am definitely looking forward to this series, and next week we will have what, like 2, 3 games already under
Yeah,
that have
yeah,
gone
at
by,
least two.
so we'll be able to discuss those.
Yep, looking forward to it.
I hope it's
And
not
as
like 2-0
always,
or 3-0 or anything.
I know. Well, we'll look forward to doing that next time.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, folks. See ya.